How do we stop wasting waste?
This is a giant pile of crap made of animal poo and all of our organic waste.
And we're gonna use it to heat this hot tub.
And I'm building a toilet that will use the sun to compost our waste.
New manure, baby.
Manure.
Oh my God,
it.
it's hot! Ah! My gosh, y'all are gonna have to turn the cameras off while we have a romance.
This is Shut It Off ASAP. All of this garbage right here is from the entire production over the last week, which is actually not that much because we've been trying really hard to have an eco-friendly production.
But this episode, we are shutting off our waste, which means we don't know where this is gonna go, but it also means we don't know what we're gonna be doing with the waste from our bodies. Bye, my porcelain favorite structure.
It's one of those things that you don't often think about. Your waste, in both ways, just kind of gets taken from you and dealt with, but this week, we're gonna be dealing with it.
And this is honestly so smelly. That's rich. So we're gonna shut this and figure out a plan. Us humans create a lot of poop. 290 billion kilograms of feces every year. Well, I'm gonna figure out how we're going to be harnessing that stuff to create fertilizer.
Okay.
So we are gonna be building a solar composting toilet that is going to create human manure, essentially, that we're gonna be using to create a fertilizer to grow trees on the farm.
Good luck with that. I have decided to try and deal with our organic waste. My hope is to make a compost, which doesn't sound that exciting, but my idea is to use the heat that comes from compost and use it to heat a hot tub. So that after all this, we can relax in a nice bath, and that is what I'm gonna do.
We have picked the hottest day to be building this toilet, a solar toilet that the farm is going to be using after this. This is our gift to them. The place where you take a dump. So the sun is actually going to be baking the pee and poo. This little bit coming out of the back is gonna be where the pee and the poo actually is, and it's made with plastic that's gonna act like a greenhouse to heat it up.
Okay.
Then we're gonna have solar-powered fans that's gonna be taking out the moisture and the heat.
Will it smell?
It's not supposed to in theory,
Okay.
but we shall see.
Good luck.
I don't want the solar toilet to be too far from our cabin, but since this is my first time building one, I also don't want it to be too close to the cabin and have the smell coming right back into the bunkie.
Oh, gorgeous!
I'm here with Dave, who works on the farm, and he's gonna be helping me do our composting mission to heat our hot tub.
And just how do you create heat with compost? We'll come back to that in a bit.
Because Dave, you know a lot about composting, don't you?
I've built a few piles, and I love composting.
Have you ever built one that heated a hot tub?
A manure heated hot tub. But I'm very curious to see the outcome. I have never built one to heat a hot tub.
Okay.
No.
So we've already pre-built this. Why are we using these on the bottom?
The composting process is an aerobic process, so having the oxygen in there is super important.
That's for the bacteria,
For
right?
the bacteria, because if it goes anaerobic, you will know pretty much right away, because it's not going to smell very good.
In an anaerobic environment, bacteria produce oxygen-free sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon byproducts like hydrogen sulfide and ammonia, which stink and are toxic, and methane, a horrible greenhouse gas. But with oxygen around, we get nicer things like sulfates, nitrates, carbon dioxide, which is still a greenhouse gas but not nearly as bad, and water.
I think the first thing we're going to have to do before we build the pile is put these T-posts in.
Okay.
And we're going to use those to support the pile.
Yeah, okay. Okay, do I need my hands here?
You
or-
don't need your hands there now. It's going to be pretty loud, though.
Okay.
All right? And I think that should be far enough down.
Yeah, okay.
That looks pretty good. Can you see the bubble?
Yeah? Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
So we've got the frame of our crapper up. We have to make sure it's straight. That's why there's three straight men with me right now.
Straight.
And now we have to put on the roof. The flush toilet was invented in 1596. Up until that point, things we would look at as toilets varied from chamber pots to just holes in the ground. Domestic wastewater used for irrigation has been used since 3200 to 1100 BC. The city of Lothal, around 2350 BC, in Gujarat, India, had houses with their own private toilet connected to a covered brick and mortar sewer network that emptied either into the surrounding water bodies or into cesspits, which were regularly emptied and cleaned. The 11th century castle building room had chamber pots, but also toilets that were for the first time actually integrated into the architecture.
The toilet is almost finished, but still not ready for use. So for now, when nature calls, we just gotta figure it out amongst the trees.
And it's just a pee-pee. They're gonna use my nitrogen. They're gonna grow deliciously tall from this. You might have judged me, but there's sugars, nitrogen, lots of things in there to feed the microbes. I just helped thine earth, okay?
I've borrowed this trough from the farm. We're gonna fill it with water, and our goal is to get that water to 104 degrees Fahrenheit or around 40 degrees Celsius, because that's the perfect temperature for a hot tub. Our most important ingredient, perhaps, is our big pile of poo. And this is gonna basically be a source of heat and food for our bacteria that are gonna break it down.
Just like humans with food or even cars with gas, the bacteria combine their fuel with oxygen in an exothermic reaction, meaning it releases energy.
We're also gonna throw in some of our organic waste that the crew and Greg and I have been making during this show, and anything ultimately that has lots of carbon and nitrogen to feed those bacteria so they make as much heat as possible.
So this solar toilet, there was nothing there, and now there's this structure. It's kind of beautiful. All the real science and what actually has to happen with our feces and our urine comes next. So I'm just enjoying the pristine smell of plywood. So I'm here with Antonio, who taught me about solar toilets because I used yours. It was my first experience. We don't need to go into any more details than that. I need your help. You are the solar toilet king, in my opinion.
I've never been called that before. I don't think a lot of people even know that about me, so.
So we are actually going to be using our human manure to plant trees on this farm. So why is our waste, which to me feels so disgusting, like good for trees?
So in nature, there's no such thing as waste. Everything's a closed cycle. So human manure is really good because if you eat good food, then it's loaded with really good nutrients.
Yeah, like there's lots of phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium, all the things that these like chemical companies are selling as fertilizer. So we're essentially gonna harvest that.
Exactly.
We humans need phosphorus too. It accounts for 1% of our body mass. It forms the scaffolding of our DNA, it's in our cell membranes. It's a key element in our tooth and bone minerals, but most of the phosphorus that we eat actually passes through us untouched. Depending on diet, about 2/3 of our phosphorus winds up in our urine and the rest is in our feces. The phosphorus available from our urine is approximately 1.68 million metric tons per year, 22% of the total global phosphorus demand. Mining phosphate to make phosphorus fertilizer is energy intensive and it can be toxic to local environments. Experts also estimate that the peak supply of phosphorus will be reached by 2033. Composting toilets are a way to recoup phosphorus, save the environment, and reduce the cost of food.
So what I always do is I start with a layer of wood chips so that there's already something there.
Yeah. Oh, like I can just hear the turd hitting the plastic. That's not right. That's not right.
Well, it also helps with like emptying it out easy. It's cleaner.
These are things you need to think about.
And then after you have that, every time you go to the bathroom, all you got to do is cover it up with the wood chips so you don't see anything. So all you see is wood chips. So the sun comes in, heats up everything, especially if you paint it black and the bin's black.
Okay.
So it gets really hot, and then because it's airtight, that moisture goes in the air.
Okay.
And basically we're going to vent that out.
With the solar-powered fans?
Yeah, the solar-powered fan. The human manure becomes safer as you remove that moisture, and it doesn't smell.
I need to move it over there. I need to conceptualize this with you. So I'm gonna pretend this is full of crap, because one day I'm gonna be like wheeling it out, right? Wheeling out the crap, one day.
Now that the foundation and structure are in place for our hot tub build, we need to add a coiled copper tube to the mix. Copper is an excellent heat conductor, and a coiled pipe maximizes the surface area of the metal in contact with the hot compost and the water flowing through it on its way to the tub.
I guess it's just a matter of putting our compost on top of this now?
We'll put our ingredients to make compost on top of it.
I see. So this is not compost yet.
No.
It's compost once it's all broken down by our microbes.
Yeah.
Our layers of compost ingredients consist of manure, rotting vegetables, and straw.
Around 17% of all food gets wasted every year, and only a tiny bit of it gets composted. Instead, most ends up in landfills where it produces huge amounts of methane gas, trapping heat in our atmosphere 28 to 36 times more effectively than CO2. And because these landfills lack oxygen, the waste cannot be properly broken down by microbes, ultimately creating acid leachate or toxic liquids, which can seep into the surrounding area and contaminate water if not properly managed. But our compost pile will minimize these negative effects. We'll be layering our brown materials like wood and straw that have high levels of carbon between our green materials like organic waste and manure that are rich in nitrogen to give our microbes the best environment to thrive in.
Generally, what you'll see is the temperature will spike in those first few days. The earthworms and other larger insects will vacate the pile because it gets way too hot.
God.
And that's when there's so much bacteria in there, so many little tiny metabolisms. That's what's creating that really high temperature.
Okay. Once the microbes get to work, they'll use this nitrogen and carbon for their own benefit and in the process release heat, which we will capture in our coil at the center of the pile. But we want to keep an eye on this temperature. If it goes too far above 65 degrees Celsius, we risk killing the beneficial microbes, at which point we'll need to mix or turn the pile. This will cool it down and introduce more oxygen again, which helps avoid methane production.
Those high temperatures also kill off any pathogens, making the compost safe to use even in home gardens.
So if we built this pile all the way to the top, you could probably come back in about a week and it would be about half the size.
Are you serious?
Just because it's breaking it all down.
Okay. At the end of the decomposition process, the microbes ultimately create compost, which improves soil structure, pH, and nutrient content, and is prized by gardeners and farmers for growing crops and keeping soil healthy. All right, more poo?
Yeah, let's go a little bit more poo.
It's messy, it's stinky, but I am having fun. I'm learning a lot and just hoping I don't have to get too much into the poop, but ultimately we need it. We need it to make our compost.
This is when the gloves come in handy.
This is where the magic happens.
Now we're creating a greenhouse effect, so we want to put this clear plastic on the sides, on the top.
Okay. For the fans, we're gonna put something coming out of the side here to help the flow of air go up to the roof.
It's got to be high enough so that you don't smell anything.
True, true. Antonio's great. He's so knowledgeable, he's so confident, and a great asset for us to understand how simple this solar toilet is as a way to deal with our human waste. Turning it into human manure is so practical, it's fascinating, and he's just allowing me to be confident in what we're doing, because sometimes I'm like, this is too good to be true. This whole design relies on the sun for the fans, so what happens when it rains or at night? You don't poo?
Because you add all those wood chips, it sucks up moisture. And then when the sun is out, it's so good at extracting moisture that you get rid of it. So at night or when it rains, it's fine.
The compost pile is taking shape and we are getting closer to relaxing in our hot tub.
It's getting bigger.
I'm really happy with the layers that we're doing. I think this is going to work really well.
Okay.
From the outside in, it definitely looks disgusting, but composting is something that we should do.
I'm wondering what you think the sort of main advantage of composting is.
We take a lot from the soil here and we'll send a lot of it off farm to
Right.
people's kitchens.
Yeah.
So what we take from the soil, we need to put at least an equivalent amount back in.
That makes sense because just the act of growing stuff is using those nutrients. You're left with like a deficit.
And once we're finished adding our layers, the pile will be big enough to turn while avoiding damage to the copper coil at the center of the compost.
While I am exhausted and I am sweating, the whole process is really rewarding thus far, and that's making me really excited. Hopefully we have a hot tub.
So this is the farm's new solar toilet.
It's so good, amazing. I'm so glad we have this.
It's a stunning crapper.
Can we use it?
And we can use it. It is ready to go.
Is there a creature in here?
No, okay, so this is the sawdust.
Feels like I'm at a bulk store.
Yeah.
Get my sawdust, put it in my bag.
So if you must know what happens, you do your business. I like to be sitting down, so it could be either for me. Then you're done, you grab the sawdust, you put it on top like so. That's really gonna help to decrease the amount of moisture and decrease the smell.
You know what I want to do? I will never be able to do this again. I want to look in here.
Oh
It's
my
never
God.
been used. I'm
Oh my God.
Ooh, hello. Oh, it's cool in here. Well, that was fun. Wait, I want to know what all that does.
Yeah, okay, let's go around to the back.
It's like a little greenhouse.
It literally is a greenhouse. And then the solar power fan, which is in here, is going to be getting all the smell and all the moisture out of this system. So it's actually gonna be dry and not even that smelly when you pull it out every 2 to 3 weeks. And we got a little door. And then this you take to a part on the farm where you'll be composting it. It'll take like over a year before you can use it on trees and shrubs.
Human waste needs to compost for at least 1 year before we can be confident the process has killed off the pathogens. Even then, it is considered to be unsafe for growing vegetables because although it's rich in healthy nutrients, it also contains viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens. However, it's perfectly safe for trees and shrubs.
But you can use it.
That's
nitrogen,
so cool.
potassium, phosphate, all in there.
It's very cool. I just can't wait though till I'm like pulling it out and being like, oh, do you want to do this job?
Yeah. We can finally go to the washroom more comfortably because we've been running either into the woods, which is horrifying. I went to number 2 last night at 2:30 a.m. and it was a very scary experience for me. Would have loved if this was done.
Should you give it a little christening, do a test?
This is right. I've been holding it in all day to go first.
Oh my God.
See you later, folks. Gonna go bake a loaf.
I don't know him. After a few days of waiting, we are finally ready to enjoy our hot tub. First of all, can you not feel heat radiating?
Oh my
out
God,
of it?
it's hot.
The thermometer in there is reading 150 degrees Fahrenheit or around 65 degrees Celsius, which is the internal temperature of our poop and organic waste pile. So we know the system's working.
This is so weird.
Our goal was to get it around 103, 104 Fahrenheit, which is around 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
We haven't been able to look since we like insulated it, but I'm ready to open it.
Yeah.
And see what we're at. Okay, will you help me?
Yeah.
Okay.
My gosh, Mitch.
Let's see. Oh, it's warm. So it's 40.7 right now. That is higher than we actually were.
Oh my, no, I don't even want to get in that. That's hot garbage water.
I have one more surprise for you to make it a little romantic.
While everyone watches us, I blush.
Some bath
God.
bomb flowers.
Okay, these are gorgeous.
And I know you love whales.
This is so much more beautiful than me just making a toilet. Y'all are gonna have to turn the cameras off while we have a romance. Oh my God, it's an outdoor bath. I'm obsessed. And I'm gonna put my toe in. Ah! My gosh, Mitch, is honestly too hot for me.
No,
oh my
it's not.
gosh, this is from hot garbage.
This
is
literally from microbes
Oh
eating the water.
my gosh, Mitch, this is so cool.
Isn't it crazy?
I cannot believe this is coming from the decomposition of
And
our food.
can you believe that that pile of poo doesn't stink right behind us?
I know.
Amazing.
I love these flowers too.
Me too.
Now this is off-grid living. Oh, this is so nice.
This whole experience with waste was, you know, a little smelly at times, a little gross, but I think a lot of it is context. You realize, is it really waste if it's used in another way?
So what's fascinating for me is that this toilet, it doesn't use any water. And when it comes to our human waste, we've evolved to be disgusted by it to stay safe. So I understand why we're all scared of it. But when there's so much potential for it to be a fertilizer for plants and shrubs.
Obviously, the hot tub's not the most practical version, but it was a really fun way to show a principle of untapped resources. So people can be taking their garbage and composting it, or maybe communities can take their garbage and compost it. And the end result is this nutrient-rich, beautiful compost that can be used to reintroduce nutrients back into our environment. It's really cool. At the end of the day, we need to stop wasting waste. Not only minimize our waste, but actually use the stuff we are creating. Let's get wasted.
Honest to God. This episode did make me realize that waste is beautiful.
It's not really waste unless it's in the wrong place.
That is such a good line. I think it's a great way to end. To be so relaxed at the end of something that was so stressful.
In a hot tub, spa vibes with a pile of poo.
While people film us, which is so absurd.
Very relaxing.
Continually absurd.
No, but it has been such a nice experience.
I don't want to get out. That's gonna be the hardest part. It's so warm. It's gonna be cold when we get out. I can stay in here all night.
Well, let's just stay in.
I can't believe this bill. You guys can all go.